Hello, welcome to another episode of SAFC Fan TV Extra Time with some brand new people. No, it's the same people. It's me and Conrad again. How you doing, Conrad?
Yeah, not too bad. I agree with you beforehand when we freak each other out if we swap sides, though, for a moment like that. It's just wrong. Yeah,
don't know who I am.
Go back, yeah. Don't know why. It just feels wrong. Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good. I'm good. We've actually started getting news in, so there's actually things to talk about.
Hopefully it won't be another lost episode.
Yeah, for those who don't know, we did do an episode in this period of time. You've not seen us for a while, but it's lost in the abyss of Conrad's PC somewhere. Because
it just became not relevant.
Yeah.
Just entirely became.
As soon as you're about to click publish, there's news.
Yeah, I think they were waiting. They were like, right, they're posting. Do it now.
Yeah. Well, the big news, obviously, this week is this thing of beauty.
Your headphones.
No. There, the kits. The kits. Now, you could look at this two ways.
He is wearing the new Hummel home shirt.
Oh, yeah. Forgot the audio people.
Yeah.
For your audio listeners,
too.
jump on YouTube after you've listened and watch. But yeah, you could look at it two ways. This kit launch, it was a complete disaster because it was sold out in an hour, or it was an amazing success because it was sold out within an hour. Because if you try and get a kit now, you can get a pair of red socks, a pair of green socks, and a pair of green shorts if you're a man. Other than that, you're fresh out of luck.
Shafted. Yeah, I think it's gone well. I think it was they didn't want to overinvest with the kits, probably based on the last years of kit sales that have been decent, but not, barnstorming. And at no point did they really sell out any kit until it was like halfway through the season. Whereas this one, like they said, I think James Copley posted how they sold 8 weeks worth of stock in one day.
Yeah.
And that's where it's sort of all gone. So I'm sure they'll have some sort of deal in place where they'll get more in as well and go from there. So there's no way they don't have anything else in place to go, well, we'll refill it. It's obviously been a huge success.
Yeah. Do you think, I haven't found any numbers. I've been looking for numbers. Do you think they based on stocking it based on last year's sales? And then we thought, we'll stock about the same amount. And obviously the appeal of this.
Yeah, maybe that. Probably a few more, a few more seasons as well. What I'm trying to think back of the kits now. I didn't really care much for last season's with the white bar. I did like the one before, but I didn't get it stupidly. And then by the time I realised I actually really like it. No, the first championship season with the black V collar and the black down the sort of inside. It grew on me. And by the time I realised I wanted it, it was sold out and they weren't going to get any more in like February. And then the fade was the season we got promoted. That was a nice one. I have it, but I have it with Defoe on the back, so it's kind of spoiled now.
I don't like the fade ones because it just looks like half my old Sunderland tops that have been washed too many times.
Just on the shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah, it's faded but not turned pink. Thank God.
Yeah.
That's the only thing with this shirt. I'm sure Hummel quality is top notch, but I'm going to be hand washing this.
Yeah,
like really delicately. It's just so nice.
Well, I'm lucky that I ordered one from China as well as from the Sunderland site. So if they turn out to be pretty identical, I will do a video on the comparison, of course. But it means I can keep one as a backup as well, just to be like, I'm never wearing this one.
Here's what happened to the Chinese one after one wash.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was just, you can't begrudge sometimes £60, £12 with cost of living crisis in it.
Speaking of kits that you wash and something terrible happens, we must mention the people we don't mention because their new kit is our old kit. The new Newcastle kit is pretty much one of our old Sunderland kits.
The 3-barred one from the League One season.
And you could side by side them. They are more or less, the collar's got a slight difference. Other than that, it's exactly the same.
We found recently with Adidas and Nike, though, they were just like templated kits, though, weren't they? They just make a template and then adjust the colours based on the club. Whereas you can clearly tell from Hummel, apart from the chevrons, which they're pretty
but nobody's going to have the ship in the stripe.
No one's going to have the ship. No one's going to have the shipyards on the back of the inside. No one's going to have the coordinates. They might have coordinates for their own, thing, but it just feels like a lot of things that matter to Sunderland fans has been put into this shirt. And I don't know about you, but does it just feel like different shade of red, but like a more red shade of red, if that's a real
No,
thing.
I don't think it is. Like, if you're side by side in the light bits, it looks more or less the same. I think it's because of the ships that it gives it that. It looks like a shimmer, you know. So, but for me, it's because of the ships. It looks like a deeper red, but it is nice. The Hummel logo is not printed on. It's like that raised rubberized stuff.
Okay.
So, which is really cool, which you definitely not.
I think it would just be nice to finally have a kit that is more red than white. In the last few years, they've always been the other way around, really. Apart from, was it I want to say the first season in League One that had a red back, I think, didn't it? But I might be completely wrong on that one. It might have been a white one, but it was. They had the red shorts with it that season, didn't they? As well, where we would do that one.
They've definitely got this one right. I mean, when they tried to go retro and do the thin stripes, that season wasn't the best season, was it?
Wasn't the best season. I mean, if we'd have been promoted, maybe it'd have been like one of those cult ones. But because
it's a horrible strip, I hated it.
I
felt like I was a deck chair.
Or an off-license carrier bag or something like that.
Speaking of kits, while we're on the kit subject,
I'm ready.
We have a new sponsor for these shows. Which we will have the logo on here at some point, I'm sure, technical hitches.
Not yet.
But it's LUSoccer. Would you like to roll the VT first?
I will do.
No, this isn't the start of the show. This is a new channel sponsor. I want to take this moment to tell you all about LUSoccer. This is one of the away England kits they brought, as well as the home kit. Both are awesome. Great quality, as you can see, from the stitching to the fine details, and we'll be doing regular competitions to give away shirts, as well as a discount code that you can find in the description of each video. So don't forget to go and check them out. Thank you to LUSoccer for sponsoring the video. With that, let's get back on with the show. No, that's not right. It's better. Missed my calling. Clearly missed my calling. Everything I said, though, people, although it is obviously a sponsored advert, everything I said is spot on. The stitching on it is superb, things like that. I mean, you see horror stories when people come back with strips from Turkey and they're just like, even the Nike is just like coloured in with a crayon. It's all stitched in really well. And we will be doing a giveaway. I'm going to point to the right side for that one. The England home shirt. It's a large size, I believe, large-ish or thereabouts. So if it doesn't fit you, it might fit someone you like. What do they have to do to win this? Just comment. We're going to go.
Let's do because we normally do predictions, but obviously Sunderland aren't playing for a few weeks. Should we do predictions of England and Switzerland?
Oh,
Saturday.
Yes, that's excellent.
Yeah,
give us your score prediction for England, Switzerland on Saturday.
I will say score in 90 minutes. We're not doing 1-1 and then penalties or stuff like that. They're just score in 90 minutes is fine.
There you go. That's the criteria. Comment it on this video. Let us know. We will check the time you commented, so don't comment 90 minutes into the game thinking they'll never know. We will be checking the comments before the start of the game. If there's a couple of that are the same, you'll just go into a hat and we'll be drawn out at random. So also, there'll be a discount code in the description, which is, I believe, SAFC 10, but don't quote me. I'll check it later.
You'll have to tell me because I'm putting it in
there. It'll be in there to save yourself some money as well. So, yeah, check them out. Even if it's not for your Sunderland or your England kits, if you just like collecting football strips, you'll have seen on some of our presenters' channels do it already. There's loads. I think I've got a Real Madrid one somewhere. So, cool. That's enough about them. Back to Sunderland. Callum Styles has gone.
Yeah, so today, I was pretty confident he was going to go anyway. And it was a weird thing that a couple of weeks ago, I think Barnsley said, good luck in the Euros, this. And we didn't say anything. And that to me was just a really big sign that we're clearly not. Because if it was our own player, we're normally quite good at shouting them out. So I think it was one of them that either their silence was deafening, as it were, that he was not going to be one of ours. And I think this time they've just put out a thing saying, no, we're not signing him just to get the monkey off the back of people talking about it. And is he coming in? I know in our group, people were sort of split on should we have got him, should we not? I was very much in the camp of I thought he was fine.
Fine is fine what you want from a signing. I actually thought he was good, and I thought he showed glimpses of that. But again, how do we judge when he's not played in the right position?
Exactly. And but I mean, when I look at my what would I class as my ideal midfield this season, he didn't get anywhere near it based on the players that we have. And if he's playing as like an attacking midfield sort of role that he does for Barnsley, I didn't see him getting ahead of any of the ones that I already had sort of in there, really. And I was a bit like, that's fine then. But when he came to utility man for us and just doing a job across any position, it might have been worth it if the deal was right. But if the deal wasn't right, you know what we're like with any sort of form of money or paying for people. It's just not worth it.
Well, this is the worrying thing now, right? Did you hear about Dreyfus at the outside the stadium? And somebody said about needing a striker, and he said, "No, what we need is a goal-scoring striker."
Well,
he was quoted as saying that. So, I mean, if even he knows what we need, where's the blockers?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think every club wants a goal-scoring striker. They're not, they're not just commonly around. And I know we were quoted, what was it, 8 million for Sims last season, and we were all like, "That's ridiculous money. He's not worth that." And then I think he ended up on the season with like 16 to 20 goals in all competitions, which we'd have been crying out for last season for somebody like that. But was he worth? But does that mean he's worth 8 million quid? Like, maybe not for us, but clearly for Coventry, they thought it was. So, I mean, the ones we're going to probably end up looking at, I mean, I know you've got a potential list of Premier League releases, but I don't know is Kiefer Moore one of them from
He's not on the list. He's not on the list that I got.
So he must still be there.
But one of the ones that's on the list was actually, it might have been the Echo that also mentioned him, is this Divin Mumbama.
Was that the West Ham?
Yeah.
I always worry when someone's linked so much, and I'm like, look, I've never heard of this guy. And like Ekwa was a little one where they went, "Oh, he's never played a professional game in his life, and we've bought him." And it was a bit like, and don't get me wrong, he's all right, and he can be above all right on his day. But when you're just like, should I be worried that we're looking at players that have just never played? Like we've been screaming out for a season, probably more so. We just need a little bit of experience in this team.
It's all money. It's all money. Even if you look at the older hats inside, like the list of there, you've got like Joel Matip, Liverpool, but he's 6.8 million market value still. You're never going to, until we start throwing big bucks at stuff like that, we are going to have to make do with who's this random guy. I mean, I don't know if this manager comes with his own little black book.
Maybe. I think someone put the other day out saying about how, they sold all his best players and he was sort of left. He did apparently reinvest some of that money in other players that just didn't work. So I don't know if maybe he's gone, you know what, well, let's just take that away from me and we'll clearly just get an owner and a director around me who think they know that best, and I'll just focus on the team. So I know he's going to be a bit of a yes man, but I mean, it worked for Mowbray for a season.
For a season. We don't need a manager for a season. We need somebody long term.
If they'd just, I reckon this season, if the season just gone, if we hadn't have done the Mowbray sacking and just stuck with it, we would have finished higher than we did under Dodds and Beale. It was, I don't think we'd have been in the playoffs, but we said that they'd made a mistake and they'd actually made the team worse. I just think Mowbray was making it seem like we were better than we were because of his influence over the players and how much they liked him, I guess. Yeah.
It's the longest we've gone without an Ahmad rumour.
Yeah, true. Well, he started to play a bit more regular for Man United, didn't he? And I don't think that's happening. If we'd have been promoted, then maybe, but not anytime soon. And I think Premier League clubs will take a gamble on him now. Yeah,
definitely. Well, Premier League clubs might be taking a gamble on half of our guys. We did get some signings. All the youth signings have come in, haven't
yes,
so,
all this, is it scholarships they called them?
The scholarships, which all look like your standard lads you see at the club, except for one that stood out for me was this Finn
Is
Geragosian,
that the 6'3" left footer?
left-footed striker.
Yeah, read about him. He looked absolutely buzzing, didn't he, in his picture?
Yeah, so that looks interesting. We will. Well, do you know what? I'll rattle them all off quickly, just so nobody's left out. Felix Scott, who's a forward. Bailey Hester's defender. Joe Neal, midfielder. Archie Lightfoot, defender. I love that name, Archie Lightfoot. Feels like he should be
like
fighting Zulus in
Archie Lightfoot. That sounds like a player.
Liam Hunt, midfielder. Ivan Struck, midfielder. I mean, if you're called Struck, you've got to be able to shoot, right?
Yeah.
Finley Holcroft. We're just going off names. We don't know these guys.
Yeah.
Charlie Dinsdale, Marcus Neal, and George Bell. That's
the main thing is we hope to see some of them in and around the sort of playing squad over the next few years. Really, that's the ideal, and not do the Stuart Donald thing of like, oh, 300k for Barley Mumba, get him out. And now he plays in this division anyway. And we're sitting there going, we had him. Could have been someone who we'd not necessarily built a team around, because I don't know, was he only like 16 when he came into League One? Get out. But you could have at least, well, Chris Rigg is another one we should be building a team around. And I don't know if you saw the rumour today, the pretty strong rumour from Fabrizio Romana, from Copley, from Phil Smith, I believe it is. Just everybody who you could possibly think of in the Twitter sphere or the X sphere is saying that he's agreed a 3-year deal with us.
Is that based on Speakman said something about contracts, right? Are they basing it off that, or?
I don't know. I mean, Fabrizio seems to be in the know on everything. He ruins every transfer deadline day because he just knows everything 7 months before it happens. Like, Can you imagine?
Can we get him on channel?
Yeah. Can you imagine when Mbappe, like, if he moved to Real Madrid and no one actually knew it, but we all knew about it 2 years ago. Like, it was just all because of him. He didn't just, you couldn't have the surprise anymore.
Yeah,
we should all usually right.
Collectively block him on Twitter, then we'll all be surprised again.
He's usually right about things. He reported when we were in for Amaz, and he reported when it was off. And the RIGG one, I mean, I've said it for ages. I think we're his best option in terms of development as well. I think if you look at the likes of Dan Neal in our midfield, why wouldn't he want to be? You've got Job a bit further forward than him. They're all similar age guys, and they're all getting first team games. Why would you want to go anywhere else at this point? And the fact that he's only just turned 17 or about to turn 18 this season, and he signed a 3-year deal, he's still got loads of time left. So if, for example, one of the rumours for him was Dortmund, because they love young English players, you could easily say, do you know what, in 2 years' time, if you still haven't done it with us, we'll sell you to Dortmund. There's nothing wrong with that. You've still got time. It's not like we've gone, can you sign your whole career here? I think we've been fairly, fair with a 3-year deal, and we haven't tried to screw ourselves over with a 2-year deal and then go after one season, oh, he's leaving. I think we've been quite careful with it.
Yeah. With these youth players we've got, there's definitely, there's something going on there where that's the avenue they're going to go for recruitment, because I'm reading that 3 of them, one's from Chelsea, one's from Liverpool, and one's from Southampton. Even though they're obviously youth signings, but they were like pre-registered with these clubs. So it sounds like we're scalping for youth.
Well, it's not a bad strategy to do. You take them in, you're not paying them a shit ton. You're trying to develop them into players that you can then either become assets or saleable assets.
But we're just gonna have another season where we're a revolving door of let's train somebody up till they're half decent, start to do well, and then get rid of him.
Sorry, the cat was trying to struggle and jump on the counter. I was just watching in case he face planted. He didn't. He made it. I mean, I think that's the game. Unfortunately, you if you don't invest in your youth, eventually your older players will end or go, and what you're stuck with buying more and more, and that's probably where they think we were back in the the 2010s where we were stuck just in this infinite loop of buying Premier League players and some maybe from the continent semi-all-right players and hoping they worked. We never really went, actually, let's invest in a younger side here and see if we can grow them with us. It was always this, right, well, who's available now? Oh, it's Jack Rodwell, it's Jordi Gomez, it's Sebastian Coates, it's this player, it's Kyriakos, it's Barini, they were always around anyway. And I think they seem very scared of that sort of model again, of just buying who's around and who could do a job. But
some of them did a great job, and it works sometimes,
So Barini did a great job while he was on loan. He didn't do that great when he came the second time.
He was still great.
Yeah.
He was still great.
He still scored past the Mags, so that he's great.
There you go. He's great. That's it. You can't deny that.
No.
Do you think we've waited for signings to get? I mean, do you think this is probably wishful thinking? Do you think Speakman's learned his lesson?
No.
And we've waited for a coach or a manager to come in, and then we'll get some insight, and then we'll get some. They're going to turn around to him and say, "Right, there's your team. What do you need?"
I think they're more likely to say, here's 5 or 6 options. What do you want? Or like, what do you think we should do? I think they'll already have a list. They won't want his input apart from, this is this type of player, this is this type of player. What do you think the squad needs? But again, we're going to have to wait a bit longer because he needs to see them. Yeah. And he needs to see him in a game or so. So I wouldn't anticipate anyone coming through the door imminently. And if they are, they definitely weren't picked by Lebris.
Would you want the signings in before the friendlies start?
Yes, probably. Yeah. I mean, even in the good old days of Keno and stuff like that, I think when I went and watched them play Darlington, when we first got promoted to the Premier League, I remember Greg Halford and Russell Anderson both played, but that was it at that point. That's all we had because he bought them in before. But then when they went to Ireland to play Cork and Galway, it was about 3 or 4 weeks later, you had Chopra, Richardson, Dixon, Atuhu, and they'd sort of brought in all the bigger ones where they clearly went, this needs more. But the ones they could get across the line and they were quite happy with earlier on, they did the business on.
Yeah.
But they had a manager who suggested players and went and got his players.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we didn't like, it was Ellis Short then, right?
No, it was Quinn. That was Quinn before
was
Ellis.
Quinn?
Yeah, Quinn was that one, and then Ellis would have come in.
Yeah, well, as much as with the Quinn consortium and Ellis Short, we had our issues with them. They always let the manager be the manager, right?
Yeah, the only one who sort of didn't really was, weirdly, Ellis Short didn't let David Moyes invest a lot of money. I'll say that. He said 60 million on a dong, but like David Moyes made signings of David Moyes' former players and then didn't want to... No, that was it. Sorry, I completely wrong. So he invested money, David Moyes got money, and sort of it didn't work out. And when we went down, which was weirdly the time to actually go, let's invest in and make sure we don't stay here or at least try and bounce back. He was like, no, you just have to work with what you got. And it was a bit like...
Was that not the stage where he was starting to think, I need to go?
I don't know if it was the stage where his money ran out or he was just fed up with it, but that was the ones where... That's where the season happened with the really thin stripes, and you were like... you've got James Vaughan, who you were signing, and you're going, what a great strike. And you're like, he's from League One. We've just been relegated from the Premier League. Why have we done that? And then we got McGeady. That's the one. That was all right. But that wasn't all right for a season. Yeah. I don't remember him doing anything in the Championship for us.
No, this is the issue. So we then sold the club to a consortium and a billionaire, and we were all buzzing, and no, the investments got worse.
Yeah, I mean, I can never say he didn't buy players for us, Ellis Short. It's just, I don't know. The one time he got it right, he got it spot on, was Sam Allardyce, and then England went and ruined it.
Yeah,
I genuinely thought, actually, sort of side point here, that if England had lost last night to Slovenia, Slovakia, whichever one it was, that could have been a turning moment for the FA to go after Eddie Howe at Newcastle and do the same thing to them what they did to Sunderland with Allardyce, because I don't know. I don't think of a better English manager that's south than Eddie Howe at the moment. It's just a shame he's for the bloody Mags.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to rate a manager when you've got that much money behind you.
It is,
in my opinion.
He's still done all right before the money was allowed to be spent in that first window.
Yeah, but as a manager, if you've got infinite funds or thereabouts,
yeah,
and you can't.
Anyway, we don't want to speak about them, as Jack Shields would always say. We don't want to talk about them.
Yeah. Always with us.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Whereas rumours concerned, I mean that's all it's going to be, isn't it, for the next couple of weeks? It's just going to be wait and see job. But
yeah,
I don't want to wait till the last minute. I looked at this list of released players, and as much as it's like there's unrealistic ones, like I said before, there's quite a few that are not unrealistic that like West Ham have released, Burnley have released. There's a goalkeeper that I wouldn't mind having instead of the one we bloody got. But you don't want him because he used to be a black and white, but you know.
Which one was that?
Laurie Karius.
No, I don't want Karius because of the Champions League final, let alone he played for Newcastle for one match. It's a crime that he played in that final instead of Mignolet.
Yeah, true, but you know what I mean. I'm just saying, with a minute amount of money and the money we got from previous sales, I'm not even talking about Jack Clark going or Job going, but that's another one we should mention, Job Bellingham, because they're saying now because of like different players demanding different prices and it's all going up that we should be asking 30 to 35 million for Bellingham.
Who was it? Did Archie Gray just go for 35?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, we've got I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't say Clark's easily above 25 and so's Job.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't get me wrong, Archie Gray was a very good player for Leeds, but I'm sitting there going, Clark was pivotal to anything we've done in the last 18 months, not the second half of the season, but the second half of the season we can pretty much write off as poor management, really.
Poor something. I won't even classify it as management.
Everything. Yeah. Poor everything that just sort of let everyone down. But even then, I mean, you look at like Dan Neil, got to be worth that in this market, really. It's not just about what we think that player's worth, it's what's it going to cost us to replace that, and what impact does it have on us if we don't have that in our team. I used it the last time we had a live, but it was when Defoe was the season before we got relegated from the Premier League. West Ham bid 4 million for Defoe because he was the only one scoring for us, and we rejected it and said no, it's 100. And it's because it's like that's what it will cost us if we lose him. Because we still could have stayed up with him and it would have been this, but getting relegated cost us £100 million. So,
I think we could lose Clark and Job now.
Oh, I do too.
I would fire sale them both. I think Mundell's awesome. He'll replace Clark anyway. You've got 50 million there. If you do not reinvest that in players, 50 million in this league reinvested in players, we could restructure the
bit
team.
Of Clark money has to go back to Tottenham, I think. I think they've got to sell on from us, but
25
you then just
or
tack
30%.
Like so if you sell him for a bit, you're not going to get all of your money. Do you know what I mean? And I think Job has something similar, but it's not to the same level. Let's
say they both sell and we get 15 million out of each of them after fees and what have you. That's still 30 million to reinvest at this level.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, can you replace it? And I mean, this in all respect, and basically from how I've seen them in the season, I don't think Ashish replaces what Job was doing for us. And I don't think Mundell at this current moment has been given the opportunity to show he could do anything that Clark was doing.
For me, nobody's doing the job Job should be doing. And he does get a wonder goal every so often, and he shuts me up during the commentary for a good 5 minutes.
A bit like his brother last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, but other than that, he looks lazy, he looks not there. What we need is somebody who's a proper defensive midfielder who then frees up Ekwa, because every time Ekwa plays further forward, does amazing. Yet we keep playing him as this defensive midfielder. We need a modern day and now Catamol in there or dare I say, Whitehead. Someone like that in the
We
centre.
need a Loriksana.
Yeah. And that would all you need. Mundell would replace Clark like for like if you want to get an extra fine, but I think he's got what it takes for that.
I think, like you say, I think Ekwa needs to move a bit further up. Not quite box to box, but certainly a bit more forward-thinking player. Because that was where he showed his best spells for us. I think we definitely need a disruptive, combative number 6, like a CDM, because we just don't have that. And I don't want Ekwa playing there because it just wasn't his game.
No,
that's it. He's not as nasty as you need to be to play that sort of role, really. And I don't think Job has that in him either. But I don't think Jude for England does that. He's not a sitting midfielder. I think his attitude, he could be when he scores a winning goal for England, he just shouts, "Who else?" Like you're sitting there going, "That's the right attitude." But and then you look at Rigg and Neil. I don't think they're 6s for us. But then Evans was a 6. And would do the dirty work, but I just don't think he was right for this division for us. I think we needed somebody. We need a stronger spine. A bit like when Steve Bruce came in, we need a stronger spine of that team, really.
Yeah.
And if you go centre forward or striker, and you go CDM, you've already got Ballard at the back. And if you play Elise with him, I know they'll probably play 09. But if you play Elise and Ballard, you've got your stability and your centre backs, and that's your spine of your team. Everything else will fit in around it, and then you maybe look at your other players. If you end up keeping Clark, fantastic. Roberts for me is an issue.
You're never going to sign that type of player, in my opinion, with this model, though, because you need him to be 26, 27, 28, coming up slowly, approaching 30.
Weather beaten.
Yeah, experience, gritty, old school, as it were. Not like 28's old school.
Is there anyone who's been released in the Premier League who's like a defensive midfielder?
There's loads. I mean, I've not saved any here on the list at the moment, but there is quite a few on there. Nothing that jumps out at me that's not going to cost us 10 million. But
that's like, it's not a model breaker, but imagine that if they just suddenly went, right, we sold Clark and we've got 12 mil of his money, and then they just went bang, 8 million defensive midfielder, like 24, 25-year-old, and it was like, oh, okay, like that's
never gonna be the issue. No, that's never gonna be the issue. They could probably do that. It's the wages that would then demand. And then the wages that guy's on then makes everyone else think, I want more wages. That's the problem we're always going to have. We pay the lowest amount of any team in this bloody league.
Unfortunately, that's football, though. Players talk to each other. Oh, you're getting this. I should be asking for more.
But we pay it's not the lowest, but it's like we're like the 3rd or 4th lowest in this league for wages.
Which club was it that was for ages? They said all their players are on the basic pay of like 30 grand, and then everything else in their contract is on bonuses.
I can't remember.
I'm not saying we should do that because obviously that's a lot of money, but you could at least go, right, everyone here, you're on a flat, I don't know, 10. I don't know what the common wage is. Well, we know Bradley Dack was on 15. But if you went, everyone here, you get 10 as your basic. And then from there, we move it up in terms of, are you a starter? How many, goals, assists, clean sheets?
You've got to be careful with a model like that because it breeds selfishness and, when there was an opportunity
for scoring.
No, but if they're not scoring, if they're taking that ridiculous angle shot instead of passing it into the box because they're going for their bonus.
No, you put in a goal and assist bonus. Just call it the same thing.
Yeah. Well, either way, they're not going to do it until they start freeing some money up.
Yeah, which they won't.
Yeah. So, I think that's about it for this episode. Really, it's a short episode.
So what would you rate the shirt out of 10? Out of 10 mics, what would you give the shirt?
There's no mark high enough. It'd be 10 easily. Yeah. If you watch the players rate them, some were saying 11 and all sorts of numbers. But yeah, it is. Put it this way: this is the first shirt I've ever bought as an adult on release day. Even in the same season, I've bought a shirt sometimes if it's gone on sale in January, maybe, but usually I'm getting the older shirts or the retro shirts. This is the first one on release day, 8:05. I was ordering it. So
I still can't believe you got it before me when I live closer to the stadium than you do.
Priority.
The only thing I can think is because I ordered the keeper one as well. And it took them an extra 5 minutes to walk around the back and get it.
Comes from a different factory.
Yeah. No, I've got the home goalie one and the home one on its way. I think I got an email today saying it's on its way or something like that. Where is it?
See, I used to always get the goalkeeper kits because I used to play in that position. So I'd actually use them when I went training. But I don't think I'd train on AstroTurf with the short sleeve goalies.
No. I just liked it. Do you know what I mean? If they'd have actually said that to your away kit, I'd have been like, that's dead nice, that. Yeah. Why not? But
the away kit, what's happening with that?
I think that's next month. I think they said there's going to be 3 kits, and I think they said 1 in June, 1 in July, and 1 in August. So
this is it based off this, wasn't it?
It's based off that one. So I think the blue, so again, for our audio listeners, he's holding up the 1992 FA Cup final shirt with the white with the dark blue and the green on it. I think the blue is going to be most of the shirt, and then it's going to be like white on the side, if that makes sense. So like like this sleeve here will be white, and then it'll be like chevrons down there, like on your sleeve, and then it'll be that blue with the spots on over that bit.
Yeah, because there was mock-ups, wasn't there, done?
That's what I've seen on the mock-ups, and that.
Yeah, but people are saying that's what the knockoff ones are, and apparently they're wrong.
Maybe. We never know. But the home one from the knockoffs has been spot on.
Yeah. Well, let's wait and see. It comes through the post.
Exactly. Well, we'll see. And then, like I say, I'll be like, here's my one from China, adult, and here's my shirt now. Like, I bought a fictional model one.
That's just going to be white. You got to colour your own stripes in.
Well, that'll be fine. You can live with that. You take the risk.
All the ships on the stripes will all be iron-on transfers.
All the ships are in the white.
They'll just start peeling.
The ships are red, but in the white stripes. It's like, that's a bit weird. Like, it's just red everywhere now.
That might work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the kit, 10 out of 10. Couldn't, I couldn't be happier with it. The problem's going to be taking it off to wash it. I'm going to, I might have to get two.
Sleep in it, bathe in it. Yeah, I know. There was a little bit of me why I bought it again, because I was like, one, I wanted to give the club some investment in it, of course. I don't want to sort of scam them off, but I was a bit like, especially when I was buying the goalie one anyway, and I didn't want to miss out on it in case this China one isn't what it says. Do you know what I mean? Or if it's not a very good copy of it or something like that. And I thought, it's only 10 quid, but at least I've still got it, Yeah.
It'll never, the problem you're going to have now is you're going to try that one on, the real one on, and the material is so nice. It's like a silky finish to it all the way around. It's really nice.
I bet you they'll be almost identical.
I've had gym tops like this. It's actually really comfortable. You'll get one that'll be like, polyester.
No, they'll be identical.
112% polyester.
I bet I'm going to sit there with this bloody video. It's going to be the most dull thing ever, and go, the stitching is exactly the same on both of them. It's because in the factory, they'll be like, there's 1,000 for the Sunderland shop, there's 10 for Dave. 1,000 for the Sunderland shop, there's 10 for Dave. And he'll just sell them. That's all it is.
It will not be the same.
It costs them now, it's over there.
It will not be the same.
I'm sure it will. Might not last as long, but it'll be the same at the start.
Yeah. Right. Everyone watching and listening, don't forget to win the LUSoccer England strip, which is a lovely replica. Good quality, unlike the one Conrad. You're pointing at the side of the screen on.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. It's there. And I'll watch it back and I'll be right. And I'll leave a comment saying I was right. I'm pointing at the shirt.
There. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, the what is it? The score prediction for England.
Score prediction for England and Switzerland on Saturday at 5:00. So if you can get them in any time before 3 on Saturday, that's when I'll count them from. And it tells me if you've edited them afterwards. So, well, don't try that either.
Try it. You just won't.
Yeah. What do you mean? Everyone got the correct score? That's unbelievable. Yeah, score in 90 minutes for England and Switzerland on Saturday, and you could win yourself a England home shirt in large.
Ish.
Yeah. And then it would be coming home to you, of course. Not unfortunately, football's not. Although, in a side note, it would be the most typical thing for England to do ever: play absolutely shit and win the thing.
I don't know how we got a result the other day.
No, I haven't heard any songs or any happiness about it, and it's actually when we're probably doing better than normal.
I know it's not an England podcast, but I mean, if you're a Sunderland fan, you got to be an England fan as well, more than likely. Just did you see the fans that were coming out of the stadium 5 minutes early? Yeah.
And
then the second row, and they're trying to run back into the stadium. And that is why, no matter what the result is, when I've gone to the stadium, I've stayed till the final whistle. Every single game. You never know.
Good on you. Where's your medal?
Keep the faith.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. We'll call it a day.
Okay. Right. Would you like to say goodbye?
I will say goodbye and see you in our next video, whenever that may be. We'll play it by ear.
Yeah. Thank you for everyone who's watching on YouTube, everyone who's listening on Spotify, and any other channels that Conrad decides to throw this out to. Really appreciate it. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, do all that wonderful stuff, and we'll see you all in the next one.